What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? So today I'm going to bring you a very fast introduction of how a sailing work. What does it all mean?
What does it all mean?
What do you do? What's a decent XP rate? What's bad XP rate? What do you want to do? What do you want to stay away from? So without further ado, let's get straight into it here. All right, so naturally first you're going to ask yourself, how do I get started with sailing? Well, first thing you're going to do is you're going to head on down to Port Sarum. You're going to go right here and you're going to do this quest. You're going to just talk to Annie, go through the dialogue and all that stuff. Then they're just going to go ahead and teach you how to use the boat. After that, you're going to get a cutscene, and you are going to end up on Pandemonium Island. Then get through some more dialogue. You're then going to talk to Ribs, speak with the bartender again about Will and Annie. Then you're going to go just outside here to the right, and you're going to talk to Junior Jim, talk to him, get through his dialogue. He's going to give you a raft, and he's going to bring you here to your customization options for your boat. Follow the directions, and then go back outside, and he'll give you some more directions, and then he's going to give you a task to do. And then you're going to be sailing on the open ocean with your raft, then go back to Pandemonium, and you're then going to talk to the port master. Then you're going to go back to the bartender, and then talk to... And then you're going to be done with the quest. And that's going to bring you to level 5. Next, you are going to go and essentially just do courier missions back and forth. So really simply, just to recap it, you are going to go here to the inspection. You're going to go to the board. You're going to grab a courier. Every single port has its own logo, and you're going to learn those pretty soon, at least just for this initial first 30 levels. And then you're going to just be doing deliveries back and forth for a little while. Then at level 15, you're going to go back to the bartender here, and then he's going to give you a little bit of extra treasure and whatever to do. And you're going to go ahead and go through that. You're going to deliver some spices to Port Sarum. Then you're going to go back to talk to him, and he's going to go tell you that you need to go make a key. So you need to go talk to Thurgo. Next, head on over to Thurgo and make sure that you have a red berry pie and a steel bar and a hammer. And then Thurgo is going to make a crowbar for you. Then you're going to head back to Squawk and Steve here, and you're going to tell them that you have the crowbar, and he's going to tell you that you can't open it yet. So you're going to go back on your ship, follow this pathing right here, and just to the northeast is going to be a crate, and you're going to open it and drink it. Go to your boat and then drink it, and there's going to be a level like 14 troll here that you got to kill him real quick, and then run back to the bartender. Run to the back here, click on the sealed crate, you pry open the crate, and there's a bunch of crowbars, and now the quest is complete. And then you are going to keep doing courier missions over and over and over here until level 30. All right, now let's talk about all the different components to your ship and what they all do. So first off, you're going to talk to a shipwright in most ports. You're going to click customize boat, and then you're going to click on the boat you want to customize. Now you can do one of two things here. One, you can actually modify the boat schematics. And here you're going to be able to see the hull, the keel, sails, trim, brazier, etc. So the hull essentially makes it either be faster or have more hit points. So for example, this is the one that you have on when you start. Okay, and you'll get upgrades, upgrades, upgrades. So for example, the camphor hull is the same speed as the ironwood hull. However, ironwood hull has 200 extra hit points to it. And then obviously the dragon hull, or whatever it's called, is probably going to be slightly faster and have slightly more hit points as well. But let's just upgrade one of these just so you can see. So now you can see that it looks slightly different than the other one. Next, you have a keel. Keel essentially just makes your armor and your boat hit points higher. Not too much, more complicated there. So for example, to get through, let's say the first area, you're gonna need an iron keel to go over the little slopes, right? For the crystal flecked waters, so for example, if you're in, all this right here, you need the adamant keel at least. Rune keel, same thing, dragon keel, I don't know. The helm helps with gentle and strong rapids, etc. So you have different rapids that are found around the world, and especially when you are doing the trials, and these essentially make it so that you don't take damage, right? Plus, you have like different kelp and whatever, and it helps you not take damage from the kelp. And the trim is fully just decorational. There's not really any reason to it. Flags also decorational. For the brazier, when you go all the way north, you're going to see this Arctic Sea, and you need a brazier on board to not take damage. And that is pretty much the simplicity of that. Next, you can actually board the gangplank, and you are going to have different facilities for different things. So for example, right here, there's a cannon, but I can also put a keg. I can put a salvaging station, a wind catcher, a teleport focus, a phantom stone, all sorts of different reasons and things. And then you have another facility one right there, exactly the same stuff, except I can't build a cannon there. And then obviously at the very end here, you're going to have an anchor spot, but you can also have, you know, a crystal extender or just different things like that to help push you along and upgrade your boat. Next, if you want to change something that is already on your boat, you just right click it and you click modify, you click replace it, and then you can see what you want to replace it with. And then you can also replace your cargo hold, same exact way. And you can also build one specific thing here, which is the inoculation station. It just stops you from getting diseased in these waters, which are these ones right here. You know, you don't get damaged when you are just going through them now. All right, now that we have finished going through kind of the basics and getting you to level 30, so well done for getting to level 30. Now I want to stress really, really hard that you need to chart, okay? Go to the wiki, all right? Get the sailing chart up and get all of the charts that you can get done as you unlock the area. It isn't going to look like it's the best XP an hour at the beginning, but when you're at level 78, you're going to lock the entire map. Okay, and if you just do the last area like C that you unlock, okay, you are actually going to get a massive boost. You're actually going to get from level 78 to 80 for free pretty much, actually, you know, once you turn in everything, because you'll get the, you know, achievement for charting the entire ocean. Definitely do the charting as you unlock it. Now for leveling after 30, you are gonna have a few different options. So your first option, which is actually, funny enough, gonna be your least amount of XP an hour, is just to continue doing your courier runs. So, you know, going from Pandemonium to Port Sarum, or, you know, Catherby, or whatever it is, right? You can do all that. Your next option is gonna be Salvaging Shipwrecks. Now, this is actually the most AFK thing to do in the game. So really simply, before you unlock the big ship like I'm on right now, you're gonna have a smaller ship, and all you need to do is get a hook. So you're gonna unlock obviously different hooks at different levels, and you don't actually have to do anything else with the boat. So for example, this boat here, I have it at pretty much baseline everything except the hull and adamant hook. I don't really plan on upgrading anything else with it. If you look here at boat facilities, you can see at what level certain hooks get unlocked. So for example, at level 74, I'm gonna have a rune salvaging hook, and you know, I currently have an adamant one. But anyways, let's go back to the beginning here. So you can do salvaging as early as 15, okay? However, you're gonna get really bad XP rates. You're gonna get like, I think it was like 3,000 to 5,000 XP an hour, which is absolutely terrible. The iron one, still pretty bad. The steel one is kind of okay, and you're going to be using this for a while. However, it doesn't really start to get good, I would say, until the mithril one, and the adamant one has been great so far with me, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to just click on the hook here, okay? You're right next to a wreck, and you're just going to click it up, and it's really AFK, okay? You don't have to do anything. I can walk away until this despawns. Now, there are double salvaging spots, so you can AFK for longer. So for example, this one can be up, and this one can be down, and then this one comes up, and this one goes down, or they can both be up, and you aren't gonna have to really move around very much. Now, there's obviously the spot here that I'm doing that for pirates, which is, you know, level 64 you can start it out with. However, there's also another one for large shipwrecks, and there is kind of like a sketchier one for Barracuda, which doesn't always work. Now, your most viable level to start this out at is gonna be level 35. 35 gets you the Barracuda Shipwreck. Barracuda Shipwrecks are located just south of Pandemonium Island. You're gonna go south and then here to the west, and there's gonna be like 5 or 6 just along this area right here. You can just literally AFK it, and you're gonna get probably 15-ish to 20k an hour. Now, when you get to level 50, you can bring a double hook here, and you can bring Jobless Jim, and he can be on one, and you can be on the other one, just like that. Then at level 53, after finishing the quest here, the Troubled Tortugans, and you unlock the Great Conch, just south of this docking point right here, the Little Pearl, is gonna be a large salvage, right? And there's another double station right there as well. Here it is right here. You can literally just park in between it and chill. Now at level 42, you are going to unlock the ability to get a salvaging station on your ship. So, alright, the way that you're going to get this is you're going to go to Pandemonium Island, you're going to grab a spade, then you're going to go right between these two palm trees there, and you are going to get your key. Next, you're going to teleport to Savantis Alfortunas, go over to the docks, and then go over there and look over to the lady, and you'll be able to recover your boat there. Next, get onto your boat, and you're going to go northeast, so it's going to be on that Chinchampa Island right there, and then you're going to get off on the island, and you are going to open the chest, and you'll get the schematic. Next, you can go to whatever dock you want, and then you can build it. Prior to having a second crewmate on your ship, you are going to have one here, one there. Since your inventory fills up, you're just going to click the salvage station right here, and you are going to salvage your own stuff, and it's going to give you, like, you know, depending on what kind of salvage it is, it's going to give you different XP rates. The pirate one here is 30. The large one is like 24, 25. So you have that to keep in mind. Then at level 55, what you can do is while you're here sorting your thing, you can send your second guy to the other hook. So you're going to be here and you're going to be salvaging, and they're both going to be collecting for you. Now, this also means that, yes, you can fully AFK this. They're going to directly deposit all of their salvages here directly. So you can just empty out your cargo here, and you can go leave for like 25 minutes, and they'll just be salvaging whatever they can. Obviously, the more cargo hold you have, the better it is. And also, if you do a Barracuda trial, the second one, and you unlock the keg, it's going to give you slightly better rates as well, and I'll explain that in a minute. Now, if you don't really care about making money here, you can just go ahead and drop everything that's not stackable. So I'm just going to drop everything. I don't really care right now. And I'm going to keep my cannonballs just in case, right? Because they are selling, I would say, okay. They're not like amazing, but essentially just free money, and you can just deposit them in here as well. And this is obviously going to be your most AFK method by far. All right, now as a recap, so for the small shipping wrecks, I'm skipping them. For fishermen's wrecks, I skipped them. For Barracuda shipwrecks, I got around 15 to 23k experience. Obviously, you're going to get less experience at the beginning. Then you're going to get Jobless Gym, and then you're going to get the salvaging station, which I went over already, and then you're going to get the sloop, and then you're going to get the double hook, which I went over as well. Then you're going to get the large shipwrecks unlocked. Okay, that's going to be around 25k XP an hour at first. Then you are going to get your second crewmate, so you're going to go and recruit ex-Captain Saeed. I'll put a link in that description as well for that one. And then you'll get the Addy Hook, and then you'll get Jenkins. Now, when you get Jenkins, you want to replace out Jobless Jim, and then at that point, you should be getting around 35k XP an hour. So when you get to level 64, you're going to unlock Pirate Shipwrecks. You're going to see a big discrepancy here of 50 to 90k XP an hour. The reason being is that when you get to level 72 and you get the crystal extractor from the second tier, so the shark tier of Gwenith Glide, that's going to give you an extra 36k XP an hour. Now, I did not click it every minute, because basically every minute you can click on that one thing on your boat, and you're going to get an extra 600 XP, and then you can go back to salvaging. Obviously, I didn't do it fully consistently, but I could probably get around 100k if I was like actively paying attention, but obviously I wasn't, because this is a pretty AFK activity. Next, at Mercenary Shipwrecks, there is no double salvaging spot. So it is actually better XP an hour, but there is no double salvaging spot, so you're going to have to move around a lot more, but you can still make a lot of GP an hour doing this. If you bring High Alk, you can actually make around 500k GP an hour, which is insanely good. And I started at around 70k XP an hour right when I got to 73. Now at level 74 is when I started making 100k XP an hour pretty consistently. I was also high alking in between ticks when I was salvaging and just dropping the rest of the things that I couldn't high alk. For Fremennik Shipwrecks, there is a double salvaging spot up there in the northwest above Port Piscarius. Really chill spot. I was getting 100 to 150k XP an hour doing this, and it was pretty chill. It was much more relaxed than the other one. Also, at level 78, I would recommend finishing charting everything, because then you will get Horizon's Lure, which is an extra 2.5% bonus. Plus, you get a full 2 levels if you chart everything. So from 78 to 80, you can just chart the entire North Sea, and you'll get a bunch of different bonuses for that, and you will get to just level 80 straight up from that. So maybe you want to use that to get to level 80. you know, do whatever you like with that, but there you go. Also, you can have 2 different kegs on your ship at one time. So I chose to have the Horizons Lure, so that's the 2.5% experience, and the Keg of Whirlpool Surprise, because this gives you a hidden plus to your sailing level. It does definitely help me with just a little bit of extra XP. I think it was like 1 or 2k extra XP for that. And then at Merchant Shipwrecks, I was getting about the same XP rates as Fremennik. There is also a double salvaging spot here. It's located right here, just south of Deepfin. It's pretty far away from pretty much anything. And I was getting pretty much the exact same XP rates for that. The only reason that I swapped over here as soon as I did is just because I wanted to get any of the dragon drops that do drop from there. And it could increase your GP an hour, so it is more GP an hour than Fremennik. However, you do have the chance at the rares. All right, next is going to be the Barracuda Trials. You're going to have 3 different trials. So we are going to go through each one and give estimated XP rate for all of them. So first off here, make sure that you have the most up-to-date and the best hull, keel, helm, and sails that you can possibly have for your skiff, the smaller boat, not the raft, but the smaller boat. This is going to make you get through it faster and all that stuff. You don't have to have anything else on the skiff at all, and it doesn't actually change your weight from what I know, so it doesn't matter if you have anything else, but you don't want to accidentally misclick on something else. Alrighty, so we're going to start out with the first trial here. So we're going to start from Pandemonium, and then we're going to go south. And you are going to start it from this gentleman right here. You're going to talk to him. If you have any crewmates on board, you can just ask him to transfer away your crewmates, and then you're just going to click clear crewmates. And then from here, you can then do the different ranks. So you're going to have Swordfish, Shark, and Marlin. Obviously, these are consecutively easier. I'll link full guides on this below. And you essentially just go around in circles over here, over and over, until you make these times, and you will get the best XP rates by far. However, it is a lot of clicking. Alright, next up here at level 53, we are going to have the Jubbly Trials. And this is the one that a lot of people are having a lot of tough time with here, because there has been a little bit of like an in-game lag, regardless of kind of like how your specs are for your computer. It's been a little bit bad, so you have to make some sharp turns, and it makes us a little bit griefy. But anyways, you are going to get this unlocked at 53. Do at least the second tier of the trial, which is going to be called the Shark one, because you need the Windcatcher moat that, you know, comes from it to be able to do the next course at level 72. And you will also get some more XP when you are traveling around. Next, you know, she's going to give you an introduction of how it works. You're going to be getting about 70k XP if you just spam the first level over and over, which is pretty good, I would say, at this level comparatively to the 30-ish K AFK salvaging at the large shipwrecks. However, again, it is a lot of clicking. And lastly is going to be the Gwenith Glide Trial. Personally, I hated this one the most because I didn't have as much lag as other people on the Jubbly, but I really disliked this one. Anyways, it gives really good XP rates, but I thought it was a little bit obnoxious. Alrighty, now looking at XP rates, when you are doing the first Marlin tier, you are going to get around 20 to 25k an hour. You know, from level 30 to around 35, and obviously, you know, you can maybe get like 28, maybe 30 until about level 53, and then at level 55 you can do the Jubbly Jive trials. If you just spam the first tier, you're gonna get around 70k XP an hour. Obviously, it depends on how outfitted your boat is, so I'm just gonna say it's gonna be in the realm of 55 to 70k XP an hour. And then when you get to the Gwenith Glide trials, or the GG trials, you're going to be getting around 150 to 220k XP an hour. Now obviously this is going to be with your max rose hull and knowing the course really well and whatnot, but those are your XP rates for that. Now I know I didn't cover too much on like the courier and like the fishing trawling. From like third-hand reports and what I can see on Reddit, there was like some pretty good rates for like couriering if you like teleport to like certain areas and back and forth and gather up a bunch of tasks, but I really couldn't be bothered with that yet. I'd rather just actively do it and get the best XP rates, or actively not do it and salvage. So that's just my point of view on it. Also, if you're salvaging, especially like the merchants, you could get a much higher level drop. So I would personally rather go for that than like a slightly better XP rate. And then for fishing trawling, the XP rate was worse than AFKing, but obviously you get fish, and fish is worth money. So it's going to be more money, but less GP. So if you really break it down, best XP for no GP return is going to be like your trial runs. Your next is going to be like couriering at a certain level. I think it becomes viable at level 60 or 70 from what I saw. And then your best AFK / GP an hour is going to be salvaging, especially when you get to merchants. And your best, current clicking is going to be trawling. All right, that's all I got for you guys here. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope this, got you to understand a few things a little bit better. Peace out for now.